Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, hump day. We are jumping into the back half of the week. Thank you guys so much for spending some of your afternoon with us here today, especially those of you tuning in live and early to hang out for the roll call. Jump into chat wherever you're watching, say hello. We'll give you a shout out and officially get this show started at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. Starting over on D Live, I see Qoys and Silbor always holding it down over there in the mosh pit. Good to see you guys. Shout out to those of you guys watching on Rumble. Hit that thumbs up button for us right now. Just Joe Elaine hanging out there modding the very lonely chat. I know you guys are lurking behind the scenes, so pop in, hang out with Joe. And again, hit that thumbs up button, share that link. Pill.net is the place to be. That is the exclusive home of hour number 2 of our broadcast. So if you haven't found your way over to the comfy bunker, be sure to do that, and that way you'll be able to watch the entirety of today's broadcast. Hanging out in there today, we've got lots of friends. Let's see who's all chilling. We got Lance Lightspear in there first. Floyd, due diligence. What's going on, my friend? Delia down in Arizona. Great to see you. People freaking out about SCOTUS, Missouri versus Biden, but it's just a prelim injunction they won't take. Not the case itself. Calm the heck down. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Although I will say Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett were major disappointments as Supreme Court justices. In my opinion, they have not lived up to the hype at all. Of course, there's Joe Elaine modding the chat, keeping everything super comfy. We love you, Joe. Thank you for all that you do. Patriots 714, it's great to see you. Ken Chris, good to see you, Chris. I hope you're having an awesome Wednesday. HL Paco, welcome. And we got due diligence with a Wagyu Wednesday tomahawk cut cookie. Fantastic. And then a Gateway Pundit article. Top secret U.S. underwater drone weapon. Well, that's awesome. Let's throw that in my stack here. I don't know if we'll get to it today, but I appreciate the early support, Floyd. And yeah, I hope you're having a great Wednesday so far. All right, scrolling through who else is out there. Hey, what's up, Packers 412? I hope you and Jenny, Lyle and Jenny, hope you guys are both having an awesome day. And thank you for tuning in. We got D Richard out there. What's up, D? Hope all is well. R Harrell popping in as well. Good to see you, R Harrell. Norm, what's up, Norm? Hang 10 Alien Surfer in the house. There's Barb Robbins. What's up, Barb? How we doing this week? Good afternoon, Mr. Gerardo. Hope you're doing well. Welcome. Cynthia's out there. Good to see you, Cynthia. Our 4 cents. What's up, Cap? How you doing? Patriot Mom 76. Welcome. Welcome. Hey, Mad Joker, Soldier American. Good to see you guys. Ohio Kimmy, Running Patriot. Welcome. Tweety 52, Crockett Man 62. Hey, there's Kevin's Chaotic Coffee, and I see you down there in the green room hanging out, hopefully enjoying all the amenities. Good to see you, Kevin. Looking forward to having you on the panel here with the rest of the No Prisoners podcast fam. What's up, Fazik? How are you? Anonymity and Pip's mom checking in from across the pond in Wales, UK. Good to see you, Pip. Hope all is well. Kimha, what's up, Kimha? Range Pony out there. And Lucy Anders, good to see you all. Need all my lurkers to pop in and say hello. We got another minute and a half to kill. What's up, Smitten Kitten? Good to see you out there. Happy Wednesday. There's Martin 37. What's up? Good to see you. Gnarly News popping in over on Rumble as well. Let's see. Freedom Fighter 1970 says no sound. There better be sound. If I just did all that and no one could hear me, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, but I think that's on your end, Freedom Fighter. Cali Patriot 14. Jeff Den checking in from north of the border. We got Trump Red Pill and Clover Lily out there. What's up, guys? Good to see you all hanging out in the comfy bunker. If you haven't hit that red pill button yet, make sure you do that. If you haven't hit that repost button, definitely make sure you do that. Most importantly, share the link. Grab it right out of the browser and send it to somebody who might do something with it, because we need to continue finding new people on pilled.net, getting them onto pilled.net, the only true free speech platform especially when it comes to live streaming and video content on the interwebs. So we need to keep promoting it and getting new people in here. 5x5 says Joe. That's good. Oratorio 17. It's going fantastic. Thank you for asking, and thank you for being here. Boys Blanc says, please tell Pinata that it's no close Wednesday. He's going to poke an eye out. Thank you for the cookies. I thought no close was on Monday. I think you're just trying to get everyone naked all the time, Boys Blanc. I'm starting to get suspicious of the way you run our HR department, my friend. We might have to have a talk about that. Anyway, it's 4:00. Let's get this party officially underway. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the start of the show.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Y'all for tuning in, Patriots United, doing what we gotta do to win. Be addicted, the MSM, and now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all. I say it with pride. No, we won't run, we won't fall. We're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong and stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production. Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We're making it hard for the deep state to function. Every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adol Nero is the power that's controlling the flight. With all the patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhyme for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may even find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. It's all by design, the patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they can find. They're just slaves in the system to the roles they're assigned. That's sad, the good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place. They can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight, but I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sites? These people hate America, punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride. Watch the water, we're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative they're feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, we're preaching with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're only sending vibes to start raising our boots. These demons all weaponized. Now we're raising our troops, now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life is a game of chess, they want to use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful, then you're gone. But not us, we're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right, knowing they're wrong. Adol Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Adol Nero.
All right, let's get this Wednesday going. What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for joining me for another installment of Deplorable Discussions. My name is Adol Nero. It is June 26th, 2024, and we've got an amazing panel for you guys today. Joining us is 45-1 Actual and the No Prisoners podcast crew. Awesome to have you guys back. What's up, 45-1? How you doing today, man?
What's up? Sorry about that. I was having some technical difficulties, but I got it worked out.
All good, man. Yeah, I see there's two of you in the Zoom room. So,
I don't know why the other one's in there. We can kick that one out.
It's all good. The more 45-1, the better. That's what I say. Also in the crew here, we got Darth Salt. Kevin, how you doing, man?
Adol, Bois Blanc as your HR rep is awesome. I don't know who he hired to to supply what was in the green room today, but when I found these salt guns, I was like, yes, it's like we were back there just going at each other, and I've got some bruises now, and I feel pretty good about it. So it's so good to be here. Thank you for having us again.
It's my pleasure. It's absolutely my pleasure. You guys are amazing. And I always look forward to when we get the No Prisoners podcast crew on. So welcome. And let's have ourselves a kick-ass Wednesday. Also, my OG Drunk Pinata popping by. What's up, Drunk Pinata? How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Always great to have you on the panel. What's going on today? How was thinking logically?
Pretty good. It was just mostly just going over each side, doing kind of giving their last word, so to speak, of what they think might happen, where the weak points that either person should address, and that kind of thing. Then we had pretty much ended with a very nonsensical back and forth with Michael Cohen and Nicole Wallace, where I would have thought that you can sense that Cohen is still uneasy. He's still very defensive. Like, considering he got everything he wanted, you can tell that getting something with, especially when these people think this is what they want, then they really want it really bad and they get it. What they have like no purpose afterwards, and you can tell he's just very aimless. And but I think they know it's bittersweet because they know it's not real, and they only know it's going to last for so long.
It's like the dog chasing the car, you know?
Yeah,
They,
exactly.
how are they going to do with it? That's exactly what it is. Do you have anything you want to play before I do sponsors or anything specific you wanted to show us?
Not today.
Not today. All right, right on. Well, in that case, let's go ahead and jump right into our sponsors, and we'll go from there. And we only have one sponsor, and that is Earth Garden Botanicals. EarthGardenBotanicals.com. We love this company. They've been with us for what, 3-4 years now. Amazing products made by our friend Jolene up in Montana. Jolene's an herbalist and a health coach, total badass, a patriot, and these products are top notch. Try the white pine needle extract or the sunshine and pine needle tea. Two versions of pretty much the same product. The pine needle tea is for sipping. The pine needle extract is a concentrate version, really good for detoxing, and is really good for the body in general. Amazing CBD and hemp products, all the ingredients for which are locally and organically grown on small Montana farms. The CBD oil tinctures are incredible. Probably the best I've ever had. Definitely the best I've ever had. The flavors are amazing. Orange ginger bergamot, huckleberry, cinnamon bliss, peppermint cherry. Even the unflavored one tastes so good because the product is so pure and clean. There's CBD oil for pets, Delta 8 R&R nighttime gummies to help you sleep. And there's a topical cream and arnica salve for sore joints and muscles. That can come with or without the CBD infused, depending on your preference. Boost your immune system with some elderberry tonic. Clear your sinuses with the fire cider. The fire cider is great to have this time of year with all the pollen in the air, getting stuffed up. This stuff can offer some quick, immediate relief. Take a shot of it, and you're breathing way better. I mentioned the sunshine and pine needle tea. There's a few other tea blends to choose from if you're a tea drinker. So take a look at the elderberry tea, serenity. There's golden potion tea as well. And I always give a shout out to the Happy Trails critter juice. That stuff is amazing. It's an all natural insect repellent to keep mosquitoes and bugs off you. It works really well. It smells good. It doesn't feel oily and gross on your skin. In fact, within minutes of spraying it on, you forget you're wearing it, other than the fact that you're not being bothered by the mosquitoes. I keep one in my golf bag. I keep one in my truck, typically one by the front door. I always have this stuff available because mosquitoes love me for some reason. They're always attacking me. And this has been an absolute game changer, a quality of life enhancement during the summer for me, not being constantly covered by those annoying itchy welts that you get from the mosquito bite. So guys, all these products here, I never cover them all. There's a lot of other ones here too. Go check them out. They're all top notch. They're all made by, like I said, Jolene, who's a total genius when it comes to this stuff. And you get 10% off when you use promo code 412 at checkout. So don't miss out. Go load up a cart. Say hi to Jolene for us. She absolutely loves you guys. And yeah, appreciate all of you who continue to support our sponsors. Again, that's earthgardenbotanicals.com, promo code 412 at checkout for 10% off. And I see Feisty Ace is about to jump in here as well. We'll say hi to her before we get too much further here. Feisty, how you doing? Happy Wednesday.
Hi, everybody. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's great to have you and the rest of the crew on the show. And
Well, thank you.
I heard there's some big news. Kevin was saying there's some big news coming from the No Prisoners podcast. A increase in schedule here, going to 5 days a week. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes, yes, you are. Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Kevin and Sandra from Coffee Talk with Sandra are putting together these awesome shows. Like yesterday, they went over dangerous sugars and super adulterated foods and how they're basically sneaking it into everything and using language to kind of hide stuff, and maltodextrin, which I had no idea about, and just super processed stuff. So it was very informational. And Kevin really takes pride into making sure he gathers up the best information for those streams. He's going to be doing parenting throughout the decades tomorrow, so make sure you check out on that. And then next week, the one that, because he's got spoiled last time. Yesterday, I had snuck in to the background and I was basically producing the show for him. So I was throwing up the donation stuff for him and changing scenes and just kind of keeping the show flowing along. So next week he's making one of the topics, small scale survival and homesteading and kind of like micro gardens and how to basically sustain yourself on a limited space. And so, of course, I'm going to have to come and hang out for that because, as you guys know, I'm building my biggest project so far, which is a hydroponics system, aquaponics system, excuse me. And so we're going to be housing somewhere close to 200 fish and have 6 grow beds. And it's going to be amazing. So we're documenting, assembling that, and I'll definitely have like a deep dive stream kind of showing everybody what that looks like. And yeah, man, it's exciting. He's making all sorts of good content. Make sure you guys go and check it out.
So Kevin, is that always going to be like special topics like that, not necessarily news and current events, but just different little deep dives and things outside of what you'll see like on the Gateway Pundit every day, things like that? Is that the plan for Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Exactly. It is information which is helpful for like your average viewer who needs a small break from the politics and the news and such. And then we focus more into the things that actually matter, like parenting, for instance, like nutrition, like what 45-1 was saying, like how to provide for yourself, how to be ungovernable. And one of the topics, I'm not going to have a July 4th show because it's July 4th and that's on a Thursday, so I'm not having a show that day, but we'll be diving into the psychology of fear the following week. And as 45-1 actual said, my co-host is Sandra from Coffee Talk with Sandra, so be sure to tune in and throw the love over. We simulcast the NPP version and the Coffee Talk with Sandra at the same time. So I'm always letting people know we have 2 different broadcasts going on. So spread the love, give the support if you can, and help us grow.
Right on.
There you go. Yeah.
Sandra's awesome. I went on her show once a while back. She's great, and I love the synergy there. So yeah, definitely go check out Coffee Talk with Sandra. And also, if you guys haven't actually gone over, if you're part of this audience and you haven't actually gone over and given the No Prisoners podcast a follow yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Get on over there and do that. They go live from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. That's Eastern time. So go check that out. Is that the same time slot, 10 to 2 p.m.?
Exactly.
Wow.
We're
awesome.
we're trying to stay consistent.
Very cool. All right. Well, speaking of the food thing, I was saving this as like a side article, but since you brought it up, I saw this come on the Epoch Times today, and I thought you guys would find it interesting. So USDA rules leave U.S. organics disadvantaged against imports, alleges watchdog. Imagine that. So Wisconsin Organic Industry Watchdog Group warns that the United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA, rules are leaving American farmers at a major disadvantage compared to imported foods that can claim organic status with less oversight and fewer requirements. The group has requested the U.S. Inspector General conduct a formal investigation into correct implementations of organic food regulations. The group, Organic Eye, has accused the USDA of betraying its commitment and legal requirement that all organic food come from independently certified and inspected farms. The result is cheaper imports that have less oversight and can outprice American grown produce. Organic Eye says this is due to 5 key factors. 1, U.S. federal law and congressional mandate organic farms are subject to annual inspection of their operations. This includes, but is not limited to, the examination of the growing and harvesting process, handling and packaging management of the produce, and inspection of the farm's facilities. U.S. organic farmers invest considerable time and money to fulfill these stipulations and receive the organic certification label, thereby ensuring an organic product grown according to the guidelines. Imported foods often bypass these procedures when it is either wildcrafted, foraged from natural habitats in areas that have no parameters at all, or grown on farms that do not adhere to these regulations because they are operated by micro farm units, often families, and centralized through an international grower group. 2, the National Organic Standards Board adopted recommendations for the certification of grower groups in 2002. So these groups certifications were primarily intended for imported crops such as coffee, tea, spices, cocoa, and tropical fruit not produced in the United States. Annually, only around 2% of all farms consolidated under a grower group's umbrella are inspected by an independent entity. Mark Castell, executive director of Organic Eye, told the Epoch Times in an interview. This allows for imported produce to carry the organic label and fill supermarket shelves without having been subject to the rigorous monitoring that U.S. grown produce is subjected to. 3, umbrella certifiers such as French-based EcoCert managed and market uniform small-scale farms for family units in developing countries. So EcoCert USA operates as a for-profit organization overseeing agribusinesses clients in more than 130 countries, employing more than 800 organic experts and servicing upward of 65,000 clients. Certifiers can come from within the organization's grower groups, which therefore removes independent outside control. 4, it appears these grower groups are not linked by location, community, or cooperative, and instead constitute nothing more than a list of suppliers to a specific processor or marketer, said Mr. Castell. Consequently, the initial idea of supporting small family units and farming communities in developing nations has taken a back seat. Quote, instead of community elders acting as liaisons in the group certification process, we have agribusiness employees conducting up to 98% of inspections, said Mr. Castell. The buyers of these commodities have an economic interest and are anything but independent, and they are certainly not an accredited certification agency as is required by law. And 5, these points stand in distinct contrast to the regulations U.S. organic farmers must adhere to on their home turf. According to Mr. Castell, organic produce reaches the U.S. market below production cost for American organic growers. This leads to a die-off of American organic farms, which is detrimental given the fact that the demand for organic food continues to rise in the United States, said Mr. Castell. According to the Organic Trade Association, organic food sales broke a record of $60 billion in 2022. Nevertheless, organic farm acreage was still less than 1% of U.S. farmland. That's kind of insane. 1% of all of our farmland is organic. Retail has shifted, and big food stores such as conventional supermarkets, club stores, and supercenters gain shares of the organic food market. This leads,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
so I don't know if I think I might have mentioned this the last time that we were on, but do you know what the largest crop in the United States is? Like what the largest grown crop in the United States?
I would guess it's corn, but
It's grass.
grass.
It is lawn grass and turf. Yes. And it does absolutely nothing. And so many because of like these subdivisions and all this stuff that gets built, so much farmland has been allocated to growing that because that's where the money is. Because just like you pointed out, yeah, the demand for organic food is growing, but nobody can afford it. And then you tack on like what's happened with petroleum and going into the fertilizer and the limitations on fertilizer. And now they just hit all of these farmers that have been using these DJI drones to treat their crops, and they just shut all of them down, and like these things are like $40,000 a piece, and like it's insane. It's insane. And then you got the Idaho farmers and the standoff they had with the water, which thankfully got resolved. I mean, it is a pretty massive attack, and yet again, we're all growing grass because we've been groomed to think that having this primed yard is the way. You know what I mean? And you could be using it to not only offset the demand with organic food, growing it yourself, but there's just so much potential for, you know, the land that you have there, growing medicine, whatever it is. And we're all stuck just growing sod. It's crazy. It's crazy.
There's been a major attack on our food supply for a long time now. I mean, think about that. 1%, just 1% of all of our farmland is organic. So
Yep.
99% of our stuff is either GMO, filled with pesticides, and you have to ask yourself why. Why do they put organic farmers at such a disadvantage? Why do they make organic whole foods so hard to obtain, and so expensive to buy? It couldn't be that, all these other types of foods, these processed foods, these GMO foods cause major health issues, and that there's a major industry in that side of things. Is it? I mean,
Right?
big food and
Kevin
big.
just did this. Yeah. Kevin just went over this. Go ahead, dude. Lay it
Good,
on
Kevin.
'em.
Yeah, jump into it a little. I mean, this is
Yeah. As far as like the foods, yeah, there's no money to be made if you're healthy between these industries. And when you follow the money of these industries, they go back to like, what, five or six, like a handful of mega conglomerate corporation, what would you call them? Progenitors. Yeah, the processed food, even the things like dietary supplements and vitamins and so much of what we consume, which is processed, contains things like the maltodextrins, which like spike your insulin. And if you're spiking your insulin, but you're not eating food, the insulin is going to send a signal that says, hey, I'm hungry, even when you're not. So you're overeating, you're putting stuff into your gut biome, which is killing off your gut biome. It's destroying your intestinal lining and causing you to have something called leaky gut syndrome, which is causing malnourishment. And they're putting this stuff into infant formula. It's things like high fructose corn syrup, the maltodextrin, the modified corn starches, and it harms the biology of almost every living thing and makes them sick and causes malformation with mitochondrial DNA. It messes with the body so much. But you've got a pill for that. Don't worry. Don't worry. The pharmaceutical industry has a pill for that. And then the pills might contain maltodextrin, like some of these things. Have you heard of metformin?
So many supplements, so many health supplements have it in it.
Yeah. And it's like metformin, the thing that they give diabetics, contains cornstarch, which is going to spike your insulin. And surprisingly, it contains talc, the very substance which Johnson and Johnson has been in court regarding the cancer involved in Johnson & Johnson's baby powder when it was made of talc. Well, they're pressing your pills with it. So it's like, just keep you sick.
have you dove into the history of how we got here at all, Kevin? Like 1% organic. I mean, that doesn't happen overnight. How did people get so disconnected from something as intimate as the sustenance they put into their body to allow
Convenience.
these major companies to completely destroy real farming, real food supplies. Because, like I said, it doesn't happen overnight that you get down to 1%. Like that happens over generations and generations. What's the
And
lead like? What's the leading cause, or how did we get here with that? Because
well,
that's what I'm curious as. Because I think within that answer, there's the key to how we get back out of it and start to take some of this back, right? So
yeah,
please.
it's like what 45-1 said. It's convenience for the consumer. You have a market who says, yeah, oh, this is convenient. Oh, and it tastes really good. Well, it's been chemically made to be addictive, these junk foods and such. And then you have the money-making aspect of it. It's like, how do we how do we bulk out our food supply? Huh, we've got this byproduct from corn. We've managed to make the corn meal, but then we've got all this slag left behind. What can we
Yeah.
do with that slag? Oh, if we add an acid to it and heat it up and then add an enzyme to it, we come out with something that's kind of sweet tasting. And it's like, wow, this is much more, this is so cheap to make. And you can, like, for a pound of like actual cane sugar versus, let's say, just like a pound of this high fructose corn syrup or this maltodextrin, it's like, for this, I only have to spend maybe 76%. This costs much less versus this, which is expensive. But this not only adds bulk, it's an anti-caking agent. This also helps dehydrate liquids into powdered forms. This maltodextrin stuff, this derivative, this highly processed man-made product off of an organic thing.
The
Yeah,
preservative.
it's the convenience because they built a market on convenience, and then the FDA, and then the FDA. Ah, then with the maltodextrin, it is that thing that I was talking about that spikes the insulin. Well, it's not considered a sugar. It's
They can
considered
call it whatever they want.
they
Yeah.
found a loophole, and the government allows it where they can just simply sign it off as something called a generally recognized as safe ingredient, GRAS. Go look up GRAS,
They can call it a
GRAS.
cornstarch, they can call it rice, they can call it whatever because they can get this stuff from those grains. And what's even crazier is like the big food corporations. Kevin pointed this out in the episode that he did yesterday with the big soda companies, because we had this surplus of corn, and then they started realizing that they could use it to get the ethanol and the sugars out, and then there became like this huge price disparity between normal cane sugar and this ethanol and corn derived sugars that they were able to get, and that kind of started the big food corporations realizing like, oh, you know what, like we're never going to let that happen again, we're never going to take that L again. So what is the cheapest way, even if it's the most processed, that we can, spread out sweetness or whatever it is, a filler that we need in this food? And it's come all the way full circle to that maltodextrin, which is absolutely destructive to everything that it touches. And then like
Yes.
some of it seeps out into the sewer system and gets into the water, and like these forever chemicals and stuff that they're finding, and everything. Like a lot of those toxins are leaving our bodies and going into the system. Like it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. And
Oh,
every time it gets in your body, it's immediately processed as soon as it hits your stomach. It bypasses so many mechanisms. It goes straight to sending a signal to the brain saying that there's a sugar in your body. So down the vagus nerve, the brain sends a signal to your pancreas and says, hey, make insulin. We have sugar. Well, what if you were just taking, let's say, a vitamin pill that happened to have like about, oh, let's see, what was it, like 500 milligrams, so about half a gram. And it's very easy to get half a gram of maltodextrin when you're pressing and caking tablets and such. So now you have no calories in your system, but now you've taken this thing you thought was going to help you. It's sending that message. It says, now you're hungry because you got this insulin and you have to take care of this, because if you don't, then you're going to have insulin shock, or some sort of like, if you know diabetics, you have to be very, very careful about your slow acting insulin and your quick acting insulins. Well, this is acting like a quick acting insulin. So then you go hypoglycemic, you start to get the sweats and you feel like grumpy and you get moody. And then you start feeling like malaise, but you feel hungry as well. And then you're overeating. And now what are you eating? You're eating something else that has maltodextrin in it. So you might be trying to like lose weight. You might be trying to like, increase your health and you think you're on the right path, but it keeps on like something keeps on sabotaging you. And you're hungry, you're just hungry, hungry, hungry. And so it's like, oh, I tried this diet, but it didn't work. Well, it didn't work because it was built to fail.
Yeah.
Yep.
How much of this is like crony capitalism as well? Like,
Oh,
Oh, dude.
are these bad? Like, because I feel like if you want to grow organic foods, you get no help. You get regulated, and there's the oversight, like we just read about, and no one's subsidizing you. No one's like you would think if our government was looking out for our best interests, they would take some of your tax dollars that they rob from you and help these organic farmers to make their foods at least on the same level. So if you want to buy organic, it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg more than buying the poison. But instead, I feel like I don't know for this for a fact, but just knowing the way the American government works and our crony capitalist system, they're probably subsidizing these big food companies that are using the GMOs and processed foods and all this stuff to give them even more of an advantage over the organic farmers who already have it rough because they don't take any shortcuts and they don't have any of these little tricks up their sleeve, right? I mean, how big is the role of that, like the crony capitalism and government getting in the way of the organic farmer, or
well,
just artificially propping up like the Monsanto farms of the world?
Well, let's talk about Monsanto. Let's talk about glyphosate. Let's talk about how that affects the insects. Let's talk about how that affects the pollinators. And when you're trying to be an organic farmer, your best friend are your bees, your wasps, your pollinators. Well, you go and you interrupt that ecosystem, and now you have to go out and like manually pollinate your own plants in the season before they drop their flowers or like whatever happens. They only have a limited time to receive the pollen. But what if your insects are being messed up because they've been exposed to glyphosate, which interrupted the reproduction cycle, and then you've got hive collapse? So yeah, there's big money to be made with these cheaply made, ultra processed in abundance. You can make so much more. It's like Hunter knows all about this. It's like cutting cocaine into crack or like however they process that. Ask Hunter, he knows all about it. But you can get a lot more crack than you can coke. I heard. So I've heard. Does that answer the question properly?
Yeah.
I mean, does that answer the question?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, is the answer to just have your own organic gardens then and just start taking things into your own hands? Is it to bite the bullet and only buy organic? And I mean, you vote with your dollar in a way. I mean, I feel like it comes down at this point to personal education and personal responsibility and what you shop for, what you buy, where you send your money. If no one bought these GMO products and people only bought organic or grew their own food, then they wouldn't be making money off of these products.
I will tell you something, Adel. This is what we're doing in this household now. For a 12-ounce bag of frozen vegetables, okay, from Cascadia, it now costs about $4.20 some odd cents, and maybe a little bit more, maybe $4.31, okay? And I used to love the Cascadia brand of vegetables until I started buying stems and soil. Like the quality of the packaging, the production has just fallen off the deep end. So I've done this now. Get yourself a pound bag of mung beans. Costs about $5 to $6 for a bag of mung beans, about like 1 pound. You take 2 tablespoons out of that mung bean, you put them in a mason jar of water, let that soak for 12 hours. And then every day you go and you drain that water off, add water, drain that water. You keep it like moist and you keep it in a dark space, okay? So it can like drain, you like put it upside down, maybe use some remnants of like window screen if you've got it. So you can like, close it off so the insects don't get in there while they're sprouting. And within 3 days, on the 4th morning, you should have enough sprouts to provide enough nutrition for 2 people for 2 days off 2 tablespoons of mung beans versus like I said,
Alive, keeping you alive.
keeping you
Yes.
alive, and it's a pound bag of mung bean for like $5 to $6 versus $4.30 12-ounce bags of vegetables, which apparently are now not even being properly, what would you say, harvested? Like you're
It's
getting the
just mass
soil.
junk.
It's
Yeah.
it's it's like you're getting the soil in with it, which means you're getting parasites and pathogens with your vegetables. And I that's what I've done now within this household. We either grow it ourselves on the trees in the little orchard, we grow it in the garden, but right now for like the vegetables, it's just sprouts. And sprouts are lovely. If you're making some fried eggs, throw some sprouts
Yep.
on it. You're making some bacon, throw some sprouts on it. You're making
Yeah.
like,
And that's
just
it. And then that's and your last part of your question, like how do we get out of it? My thing that I've been telling the NPP family is make America agrarian again. We have got to know, even people who live in the city, there's a tree line somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like number one, you need to understand where that area is. And number two, you need to understand worst case scenario, you know how to forage. Do you know what plants have medicinal properties or are nutritious that you can eat? There are plants out there, again, Monsanto being the evil corporation that it is, just straight up. Remember what they're always showing you in the commercials? They're always spraying the dandelion, right? They're always spraying the dandelion out of the cracks. But the
Yeah.
dandelion is one of the most useful plants that can grow in your yard. It has nutritional value from the flower to the roots. And so just understanding how to take a space, right? Where maybe you have something that's absolutely useless right now. It's just a thing in your house. And being able to set up even something like 2 trays of microgreens, if you can control the humidity in that, just that little 3 by 3 space, you could have like 3 or 4 racks of microgreens, which is a 7 to 10 day turnaround. And like Kevin said, you throw it on whatever else you're eating, or you just eat them in general. They will keep you alive if you know what you're growing and you know what you're going to need to sustain yourself. And guys, like that is 100% the way that you should be living. Like get that knowledge into your heads, because all it takes is one thing, and all of a sudden, think back to the COVID craziness with toilet paper, guys. Think about the panic that they induced, and that was a test, by the way. That was a that let's throw a lightning bolt up the lab rats' butts and see what happens in the situation. That was totally a stress test,
Remember
and
what
it did
they
not
did?
go well.
Remember what they did too, right? You could go to Walmart, you could shop any section you wanted. What do they have taped off in every Walmart in the country?
Yep,
Seeds.
seeds. Yep,
Couldn't
and in Lowe's and Home Depot and all that. Yep.
why? Have to ask, like, if that wasn't the biggest red flag I've ever seen, like you could go, you could walk up and down the aisle, you could buy toys, you could buy, DiGiorno's pizza, you could buy anything you wanted from Walmart, but for some reason, that section where they were selling crops, seeds,
Mm.
blocked off. You couldn't those were too
Wild.
dangerous that buying broccoli and tomato seeds, that was going to spread COVID more somehow, I guess. I don't know. But that
Yeah.
there's 100% an attack on all of this knowledge, all of this ability to sustain yourself, and they want you eating the poison. They don't want you learning how to garden.
And now they want to put the mRNA in the lettuce. They want to put the vaccines in the lettuce. It's like, what? How many more red flags do y'all need before we start looking into this and taking it seriously? Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's everywhere you look. Man, it's scary stuff. It really is. I saw a video. I wish I would have saved it, too, where it was showing food labels, same product, like Pop Tarts in America versus like Pop Tarts in Germany, and you see the list of ingredients and all this shit the extra shit that they put in American food that's not allowed in places in Europe and stuff like that. It's insane. We are 100% lab rats for these chemical companies right now in this country. And if you're not paying attention, if you're trusting the FDA to protect you, if you're thinking that, oh, they're selling it in the grocery stores and it's safe to eat, you're sadly mistaken, because there is all kind of nasty things that they're putting in all this food, and your FDA is too busy snuffing out potential cures for cancer and what other problems we have to be focused on keeping these big food companies in check. So, man, oh man, crazy stuff. Well, I was not planning on going there to start the show, but I'm glad we did. That was fun. All right, let's get into some news here. Well, we still have some time in the first hour. The big story this week is Julian Assange. It looks like he is finally free. So WikiLeaks founder Assange walks free after pleading guilty. Will return to Australia. So WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange walked free after pleading guilty on June 25th to a single felony charge related to the publication of classified U.S. military information, ending a years-long battle with the U.S. government. The move allows the 52-year-old to return home to his native Australia for the first time since 2012. Mr. Assange pleaded guilty to a single criminal count of conspiracy to unlawfully obtain and disseminate classified national defense information as part of a deal with the U.S. Justice Department. The agreement will allow him to avoid extradition to the United States and keep him from spending any time in American prison in lieu of the 62 months he already served in a UK prison. He entered the plea at a court in Northern Mariana Islands, a U.S. territory in the Western Pacific north of Guam, around 9:45 a.m. local time. The location was chosen due to Mr. Assange's opposition to traveling to the U.S. mainland to enter the guilty plea, and because of its proximity to his home country of Australia, according to a letter sent to U.S. District Court for the NMI Chief Judge Ramona V. Manglona by prosecutors on June 25th. Speaking outside the court, Mr. Assange's lawyer, Barry J. Pollack, called the prosecution unprecedented and said the WikiLeaks founder should never have been charged with an espionage offense for publishing the classified materials. Quote, he has suffered tremendously in his fight for free speech, for freedom of the press, and to ensure that the American public and the world community gets truthful and important newsworthy information, his attorney said. It is appropriate, though, for the judge, as she did today, to determine that no additional incarceration of Mr. Assange would be fair. He added, the Justice Department said it expected Mr. Assange to return to Australia after the court hearing was complete. Quote, Julian walks out of Sapin Federal Court a free man. Stella Assange, Mr. Assange's wife, wrote on the social media platform X alongside a photo of him leaving the court. I can't stop crying, she added. So there you go. He's a free man. This is huge news. We've been following the saga of Julian Assange for quite some time. 45-1, I got to ask you, because we were talking about this yesterday. Are you surprised to see this happen under the Biden DOJ? Speak to the timing of this and why you think Merrick Garland and the Biden regime would do this at this point in time. With the election coming up, knowing Julian Assange likely has information on Seth Rich. You know, he was in there with the Podesta emails and things like that. He had this guy could single-handedly do a ton of damage to the establishment right before the biggest election maybe ever in this country. What gives, man?
It's hard to say, dude. It's really hard to say. I don't know what the inner workings are or what the mentality is. I don't know if there's if they were waiting on him to die off, or what the deal is, and maybe it's people like Tucker and other big talking heads that are constantly asking, like, where's the resolution on this thing periodically. I think it puts some pressure on, but honestly, man, I don't know. I don't know what they're what they're thinking. I don't know what kind of deal was made. It was extremely unexpected, but we'll have to see how it plays out, man. It's like such a fresh thing. It's really hard for me to say, to be honest with you.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday, and we're thinking it's either to take away a talking point from Donald Trump, where he was saying that he would pardon Julian Assange essentially if he was reelected. So maybe trying to beat him to that in some way, which seems like a lot to give up for a simple political talking point on that. We know the left,
Right.
the left is pretty protective of Julian Assange in general. The other thought is that because of the whole Seth Rich situation in the Russiagate thing, which involved Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. We know that there's a lot of people within those factions that probably aren't thrilled with the way Joe Biden is performing in the polls right now and likely want to replace him. And maybe this is the Biden inner circle. They're putting up a firewall between
Right.
them and the people that might be, trying to get him to
That's a
step
great
down.
point.
I mean, I don't know. It is super strange though to see this happen right now. And I see a lot of people, bringing back up now the Pizzagate emails, the John Podesta stuff, that whole angle. Do you think that's going to come back into play and into the public consciousness in a significant way here coming into 2024? I mean, that whole story like hit so hard and then kind of disappeared with Julian
Right.
Assange. I mean,
They tried to memory hole him. They were trying to kill him off, it seemed like, for the longest time. So there was all this news he's sick. I mean, he looks good. You know what I mean? Like he looks healthy coming out of there. So I don't know, man. It's really odd, but I do like your point about possibly putting up a firewall. It would not surprise me just because of how disorganized even the messaging is with this administration. You know what I mean? Like you got people saying one thing and coming out and saying another. Like there just doesn't seem to be cohesion. There could be some kind of rift, you know what I mean, where Joe Biden might or his handlers might feel like they're backing him into a place where they're just going to dump him off. Like I don't know what the debate is going to hold. I know it's going to be a clown show. And I'm going to be here for it. It's going to be great. But it's going to tell the American population a lot because CNN has kind of already overplayed their hand with the entire thing, with all the protections they're already kind of throwing in place. And like I was saying on the show today, it doesn't matter if people buy into the fact that there's the media bias and that they're, stacking the deck against Trump with this thing, and he's going into the Viper's Den anyway, whether they believe that or not, it's in their consciousness. And so I think Trump is going into it like lion style with the idea that it's going to be so exposed again. And all of these political talking heads and it's going to force the rift open. So I think that after whatever performance happens tomorrow, that's really going to be a kind of a clear indicator on the replacing Biden game. I really do. It's going to be a sight to see.
Absolutely. Well, Kevin, let me ask you, because you stepped away for a minute. Do you have any thoughts on Julian Assange and the timing of his plea deal? We were talking about how strange it is that, first of all, it would come from the Biden regime, that it would come this close to an election, considering his knowledge of the Russiagate situation, the DNC emails, Seth Rich, all these things that could really do massive damage to the establishment narratives that they've been pushing against Donald Trump for so long. Why do you think that this happened now? Why do you think the Biden regime would do something like this at this point in the game? Do you have any thoughts on that?
To be honest, I don't have anything solid. I have only perhaps they're trying to win votes from a demographic which currently runs contrary to their core values, which they have put on full display over the past, 3 or some odd years. And then previous to Trump with the Obama administration, what they put on full display in our faces and shoved down our throats. I think that this is some sort of a look, we're really not so bad. Look what we're doing. We're like taking care of this guy. He's one of you truthers. You can relate to him. I think they're trying to use psychology on this, and I just hope that Julian makes it through this safely. That's my thought on it.
Yeah.
How many Boeing planes does it got to be on?
Oh dear.
I mean, there's a reason why he didn't want to come stateside to enter this plea deal. I mean, I don't think you have to believe you're Julian Assange. You're thinking, man, if I step foot on mainland United States, I'm never getting out of there, right?
Yeah,
So,
Clinton's in the tree line, wringing her hands together, waiting.
Was it her or Obama that wanted to like drone strike him or something like that? Wasn't one of them putting an email like, can't we just like take him out with a drone? Can't we just?
I don't know.
Miata, do
Oh
you
man.
remember that? Do you know? Didn't one of them, wasn't it like Clinton or Obama? Didn't they get caught saying in an email or somewhere
No, I
about
don't remember.
can't we just take him out or something like that? So that's how these people think is just, yeah, hey, we can wipe this person off the planet. There's not going to be any repercussions. We can get away with whatever we want. Um, anyway, so Julian Assange set free, and very, very interesting. We'll obviously continue to follow that. I'm looking forward to the Tucker Carlson interview. It hasn't been
Oh
announced.
yeah.
No,
Oh, it's coming.
that's coming for sure, and that's going to absolutely break the internet, way more than even the Putin one did. So I can't wait to see where that all goes. All right, I don't want to get into anything fresh here at this moment until we come back from the other side of our break. So we're going to go a couple minutes early, exclusively over to pilled.net. When we come back, we're going to talk about the debate. We're going to talk about this Supreme Court ruling today, a big slap in the face to the First Amendment. So I feel like we need to touch on that. And I've got a bunch of other stuff as well that we'll get into. There's an update on the Trump documents case, some sneaky tricks. Steve Bannon getting some help from the GOP in the House. We could talk about that. And yeah, we'll see where else we go. I've got a bunch of tabs open. Oh, and Jamal Bowman losing his primary. That's fun. That's fun. I'd love to see the inside of that campaign war room and see those sweet socialist squad tears over them losing one of their loudest people. But anyway, plenty to talk about in hour number 2. So if you're watching on Rumble, DLive, CloudHub, Odyssey, or Twitter, please jump over to pilled.net for hour number 2. We'll be going there exclusively to finish up today's broadcast. I'm going to copy and paste the link into the Rumble chat and the DLive chat for you guys. It's also in the Rumble description underneath the stream. And you could also just go to pilled.net on your browser. If you can't get to the links for whatever reason, just go to pilled.net on your browser. Search for us at 412 Productions, or if you're on mobile, just look at the top of the screen. You'll see all the live thumbnails up there. They're on the left-hand side on desktop. It's very easy to find us over on Pilled. So jump on over and continue hanging out with us. I'm going to play this video. We'll come back on the other side. Excuse me. We'll come back on the other side, and we will officially say goodbye to the other platforms, and then we will. Why is that happening? Sorry, guys. My computer's going crazy. And then we'll read your gold pill chats, lots to catch up with there, and we'll get into more news and discussion in hour number 2. We'll be right back.
Pilled.net is proud to host 412 Productions, exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pilled.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family, and if you have any questions at all, please email support@pilled.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on Pilled.net. Free speech lives here.
All right, we are back. Huge. We love you. Thank you to everyone who has jumped over from one of the other platforms to continue hanging out with us today. If you're not going to continue watching, thank you so much for tuning in to hour number 1. Make sure you stop by tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be hanging out with Frankie Val of the Quite Frankly Show, Zach Payne of RedPill78News.com for Taking It Back. Will be syndicated by our friends over on Badlands Media. And then on Friday, we'll wrap up the week with the OG crew. And that'll be that for this week. So thank you guys again for watching. Come join us for hour number 2 over on pilled.net. Otherwise, have an awesome rest of your Wednesday.